Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our quarterly Hot Spot Meetup. And this is a very special Hot Spot Meetup because now we are out of the legislative session and we know that we have secured funding for the next 2 years for the program. So very happy about that. And so I wanted to, yay, thanks for the emojis. I wanted to take this opportunity to go over our plans for the next couple of years, and I'll just close that email, and to kind of lay out what we're planning to do starting in fiscal year 24, which starts in July. And then, of course, as always, we'll have some time for you all to discuss your questions and ideas about the program with each other and do some troubleshooting if needed. So first thing is, hopefully you saw this in my email or in the newsletter, that the hotspot support at mt.gov email, that mailbox is going away, in part because it's actually a lot more efficient for us to be able to address support questions through the ticket system. And if I can move this box out of the way, I'll show you where the ticket system is. So just like you would open a ticket for shared catalog or other statewide projects, if you go to submit a ticket under statewide projects, there is a category for hotspots, and you can use this menu. And pretty soon we will have an upper tier tile here, so you can just go straight into hotspots. And so that mailbox already has an out of office message on it. I'm checking it occasionally, but really encourage you to use the ticket system if you need to get in touch regarding hotspot support. That mailbox will be deactivated by the end of this fiscal year, so end of June. And on a related note, on this page, we have the State Library knowledge base, and we're going to try to move a lot more of our tutorials and resources into this page so that you can find things more easily. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but would welcome your ideas on what kind of resources would be helpful for you for the program going forward. So exciting news about our hotspots and accessories that we'll be sending out soon. So we have some end of fiscal year federal funds that we need to spend out of the state library budget. So we are feverishly ordering hotspots and batteries and cords and wall adapters and hopefully everything you need to be well provisioned for the next year. Our budget for next fiscal year is going to be $400,000, which will cover all of your data subscriptions for unlimited data for your devices. And we will even be able to add some devices. What we're not going to be doing is we're not going to be filling a support position for this program as we had in the past. And so to be able to maximize our budget and put as much of it into actual devices that can serve people as possible, we're going to be kind of streamlining what our support looks like and hopefully enabling all of you to directly manage your devices as much as you can. If that feels like a burden that your library just cannot deal with, you can visit with me and we can talk about how to manage that. But hopefully being able to log in and see your devices and turn them off and on as needed, that will reduce a lot of workload on our end at the state library and will also make it quicker for you to be able to get your devices in and out the door. So ordering new devices, what I've been doing is I had a list of devices to be replaced that all of you have communicated to me at some point. And I know some of you have been waiting patiently for those devices. We do have actually about 100 devices that are ready to go basically at the state library. And we're just kind of getting things organized to package them and send them out the door. So you'll be getting those pretty soon. We have a spreadsheet that lists how many hotspots each library has. And the original intent of the program was to provide one hotspot for every 1,500 people. And so reviewing that hotspot ratio, we saw some libraries that would need additional devices to meet that ratio. And then I also reached out to some of you that I suspected had your own devices locally purchased through other means. And so that was why I was asking about that. And so just making sure that everybody is able to at least meet that ratio. Now, we know that some people need more than that ratio because of local demand. And some libraries in the shared catalog have their devices holdable through the catalog, but a lot of you don't. So it's not clear to me who needs more devices than that ratio. So if you feel like you need more devices and we haven't spoken about that already, if you could let me know by the end of this week, I'm going to put in another order for hotspots. So I'd appreciate knowing if you think you need a couple more devices or whatever your needs are in your community. And as I said, everybody is going to get accessories. So hopefully you are let you know, Kara, via your email or ticket. That's a good question. I guess for the sake of consistency, if you could open a ticket, that would help me to manage those orders and make sure that they don't get lost in my inbox. Thank you for asking that. So that, I think that covers devices and accessories. Did you have any questions about anything I just went over?
Kara, would you prefer, this is Carmen from Bozeman, would you prefer us to do a ticket, or is there a way to, so you said you had like a spreadsheet of the ones that are ready to go, like the 100 that you have right there. Mm-hmm. Would it be possible to see who's getting what? I mean, I don't really care. I don't need to know if anybody else is getting anything, but so I'm just wondering if I need to start a new ticket, or if I just need to ask you, are we getting any, or you know what I mean? Like, sorry, I don't have caffeine yet this morning, so.
If I understand. If you could open a ticket and then I will send you my list of here's what I see that Bozeman has and here's what you are receiving. I'm pretty sure we have some to send to you as well.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, I wanted to, if you have other questions, feel free to put them in chat or interrupt me, but I wanted to talk about what support will look like next year. So as you know, we've had this mailbox where you can, and the ticket system where you can send in requests to turn your hotspots off and on. And it's a pretty simple task, but also it is cumulatively pretty time consuming, especially when we have these kind of weird problems that happen with hotspots sometimes. So we're trying to minimize the amount of time that we need to spend doing that, since we won't have support at the state library. So what I've been working on is getting people set up in T-Mobile, and also more recently in Verizon. We discovered that we are able to set up administrative access to your Verizon devices if you're a Verizon library. So for T-Mobile, we need what they would call an organizational email. So they won't accept Gmail or Hotmail or whatever, because I'm not sure why. I know a lot of you use Gmail and things like that for your library email, but if you do have a municipal or some kind of governmental email that you can use, or mtlib.org, if you have an MLA email account, we can use that to set you up with T-Mobile. And so what this looks like on my end is we've set up all these libraries, and then we have users that I have set up to be able to directly manage. And then I just tell T-Mobile, yes, this person is on our account and they should have access to their devices that are listed under that library. So just open a ticket and I will get you set up. Now with Verizon, it's actually a little bit easier because they will accept any email. So you can use Gmail. You can use whatever email you want to use for that. So again, just open a ticket and we can get you set up with that. And Suzanne says you can get an mtlive.org email. Matt Beckstrom at Lewis and Clark Library, his MLA web guy, can help you with that. So this is what it looks like in Verizon, where I go to manage company users because we're one big company. And yeah, and just kind of set you up in here. And then I have a list of people that I've set up more recently that this is what it looks like. When I set you up, it will say you're unregistered until you go in and verify your account. So if you didn't get this email or it's not working for you, let me know. We'll figure it out. It is doable. So we're just going to try to get everybody in if that's something that is going to help you manage your devices. Also, it's a pretty simple process to manage the hotspots, but I know it would be also helpful for us to have some resources. So I was going to ask what would be most helpful for you if we go back to the knowledge base. I'm hoping to build some knowledge base articles, maybe a short how-to video, written instructions, all of the above. We could do a quick kind of walkthrough at some point, maybe in the start of the fiscal year, where we go in and turn things off and on. So whatever would be helpful to you to feel more comfortable doing this, let me know and we'll be sure to get you everything you need to get in there and manage your accounts. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention is that as we're ordering devices, and some of you have heard from Sean Anderson, who is our contracts manager, and he was looking at a coverage map of T-Mobile because T-Mobile devices are actually less expensive than the Verizon devices. The subscription is about $10 a month cheaper, which certainly adds up. But also being able to order them in advance, it's simpler to order T-Mobile devices in bulk without having to associate them with a specific account. So for a couple different reasons, we'd like to get more people using T-Mobile. And we also know that the coverage map is not always the most accurate depiction of what things really look like in your community in terms of coverage. So we have a list of people that we'd like to test T-Mobile. So if you haven't used T-Mobile, but the coverage map shows that you might have coverage, we're probably going to send you one just to see if it works. And if it doesn't, that's fine. You can send it back to us or send it to a T-Mobile library. But we'd like to figure out exactly where we can actually deploy the T-Mobile with the eventual goal of maybe having one contract or having most of our devices on one contract. That's all that I needed to cover. So what questions do you have, or what would you like to talk about with each other?
This is Michelle from Ronan. Do you want us to let you know if T-Mobile works in our area, if we already know it does?
Yes.
And again, do you want that as a ticket or an email?
Well, how about I could pull up I have a spreadsheet.
Okay.
Of course.
They work in Ronan.
They do work in Ronan. And
Yes.
are you currently using both, or I don't know off the top of my head what you're using?
Yeah, I think we've got both. Yep. Caleb says both work.
Great. Okay, all right. Okay, I just dragged a spreadsheet to the screen, but I might have to actually share it. So this is a spreadsheet that Sean and I are working on together, and he was reaching out to people to ask. These are all the libraries that supposedly have T-Mobile coverage, but is anybody here today seeing that and saying no way, that's not true? Otherwise, we're probably going to send you a T-Mobile hotspot to see if that would work in your area.
Dillon Public has T-Mobile coverage, and I don't see us on there.
All right, do you currently have T-Mobile devices?
Yeah, we have half T-Mobile and half Verizon, and I have two that have been sitting here for a while that don't work. So I don't know. This one's a T-Mobile. I think one's a T-Mobile, one's a Verizon that doesn't work.
Okay, I think we have some replacements to send to you, Lori.
Yeah.
I think this is a list of people who don't have any T-Mobile devices currently. So if you already have some, we know we could send you more.
Okay.
And we will. Lincoln County, kinda, yeah. Tina says T-Mobile does not work in Wheatland County or 3 Hutterite counties or 3 Hutterite colonies switch their cell phones to T-Mobile and they cannot get internet. Okay, well, that's good to know. I will put that note in here. That's helpful, thanks. So what else do you want to talk about? Any other questions or anything for the group?
Will you send us links to exactly how to get to that knowledge base where we can request tickets?
Oh, yes.
So, or show us again how to get there.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Please and thank you.
Here's the link in chat to our portal. And right now the knowledge base doesn't have much or anything in it. Well, just there's one thing in here about hotspots about managing the T-Mobile devices. So we'll be adding to that knowledge base with more articles that you can use as ready reference. And that's also where you can open a ticket if the knowledge base articles don't address your questions.
Thank you.
Sheila asks, is anyone else having trouble with hotspots being returned?
Always.
A very constant issue.
It's gotten a lot better for us here in Polson since we can turn them off almost immediately. So that definitely does make a difference.
Yeah, so being able to access the admin site where you can turn them off and on again. Also, we added, last time we talked about CERC policies and a couple of you sent in your policies. So we added those here. That might be helpful to encourage people to return them if they understand when they sign one out that there may be penalties for long overdue devices. Sheila says turning off hasn't helped for some reason. Yeah, sometimes they just don't come back. There's a question in chat. Has anyone had them show up at pawn shops yet? Has that happened in Butte?
We haven't even thought about looking at pawn shops.
So when the hotspots are long overdue and you say they're not coming back, are you how are you handling that? Do you send them to collections, or what is the penalty?
We charge them for each piece that's missing, but they typically stop coming in. So, we had one person or one hotspot that was returned in a wrong case, as in a different hotspots case. And we've tried contacting like the person who had the hotspot, the person who had the other hotspot. They obviously must have been at the same place at the same time or something, but we've gotten no responses. Phones aren't working anymore. No replies to emails, all that kind of stuff. We haven't seen either one of those people involved in that situation since, and it's been at least 6 months now.
How do you send something to collection?
Is there anyone here who uses collections?
I don't use collections, but I get my city attorney involved, or you can get your county attorney. I don't know what kind of a library you are, and have them write a very professional, nasty letter, and they seem to come back.
I know Great Falls uses collections on books, but I don't know if they've ever done anything with the hotspots.
Butte says, sorry, I don't know who is joining us from Butte, so I'm just calling you Butte. A strongly worded template sounds like a good idea. And that's something that we can add to the knowledge base. Hi, Steph. So we're going to add instructions for how to manage hotspots in the vendor portals, and then we can add some templates and suggestions for how to encourage your overdue patrons to return their hotspots. What else would be useful to you to have in the knowledge base?
I have a question on cataloging for non, I totally forgot what it is, shared catalog libraries. So like, we found it a lot easier to just put all of our hotspots in one catalog record, you know, so that you can see them all at once and not have to place holds on an individual hotspot. But then our catalog records are incorrect because, you know, not even all the T-Mobiles are the same style of hotspot, and you've got the T-Mobile and the Verizon. So I'm just kind of wondering how other libraries deal with that cataloging of them.
Hi, this is Steph. Butte did it by brand name as well, and just so we could view them all on one page, like you say. I don't know if we've had any struggles with that methodology or not, but it does make it handy to just tech two records for updates on what's going on.
So I have a question. We catalog ours individually, but can you put it in a kit, all of them, like a book club kit type thing, so you can see them all on one record? Is that possible?
I don't know. We've never done kits in our catalog, so I'll have to look into that.
I put a link in chat to the knowledge base article for how the shared catalog is cataloging mobile hotspots in case that is useful.
Thank you.
So the original guidance for this program was that we prefer that libraries do not charge overdue fines, but I think if that is an effective way for you to get your devices back, we don't have a strong preference, actually. We will not be able to replace devices next year, which is why we're sending you devices at the end of this fiscal year. So that might be especially helpful for you to think about what kind of policy you want to have when people check out a device that you might not be able to replace.
What kind of policies does everybody have on repeat offenders of returning them late?
They don't get to check them out again. And we put them on hold for at least a month, and they cannot check them out. And then if that doesn't work, then they just get banned from them all completely.
Do you have like the first time they return it late, it's a month? How many times do you let them do that before you ban them completely?
We tell them if they bring it back late the first time, we tell them, okay, it was late. So the next time, if you use it and it comes back late, you'll be banned for a month. And then if it comes back late, then we ban them completely and just say, sorry, you can't use this again.
Okay.
Because just we have high demand and they're always gone.
Yeah.
Anything else? This can be a short meeting. Just wanted to go over those end of year updates with you, and I'll recap everything in an email after this meeting. And then you'll be all receiving packages from the state library with equipment and accessories Again, if you feel that you are in need of more devices, please open a ticket and let me know by this Friday. I'll be putting in a final order, and then we'll be building in more resources into our knowledge base to help support you in directly managing those devices more effectively. And one final thing, I wanted to remind everybody that we have an evaluation here, a hotspot patron survey, and this is really actually very useful. I think we used this feedback quite a bit in our legislative testimony that was obviously successful, and that data goes into our data dashboard for the hotspots, and so it is really worth your time to share that survey with your hotspot users. We do appreciate that feedback. So thank you all for your service to your communities and for helping make this program successful. And you'll be hearing more from us here in the coming weeks. So have a wonderful Wednesday.
And thank you, Kara, for all the work you do on this.
Right. I'm going to stop the recording now.